Welcome to this lecture series, Manufacturing Technology Second Unit 3rd, Lecture 44, Milling Machine Tools. Okay, I present for the last lecture for the slotting machine and some of the machines in the milling machines. Okay, and classifications of milling machines and types of the milling tools and classification of the milling tools. Some of the point discussed for the milling tools. Okay, and depend on the rotation of the milling cutters and or depend on the direction of the milling cutters and uh, depend on the feed rate of the milling cutter. Okay, some of the point discussed and see and some of the point discussed in this video for the type classification of the milling cutters. Okay, let's start. The agenda for today present in this video for the classification of the milling cutters and plain milling cutters and side and face milling cutters. Okay, and sliding saws and special form cutters and end mills and hand off cut and hand off helix. The plain milling cutters. Some of the cutters used for the perform of the manufacturing operation on the plane of the surface. Okay, plane of the surface, X plane, Y plane, and Z plane of the workpiece in perform of the operation. Okay, side and face milling cutter, and the workpiece is the face side, some of the width and height of the body and face cut for the cutters and side is the suppose that x side of the milling cutter cut for the one side and two side on three side. Okay, the rectangular workpiece of the four faces of the workpiece and one face cut and one side cutting and two side cutting. Okay, and the face of the workpiece, suppose that mm, the cutter cut for the metals on the only for the face of the workpiece. Okay, and is letting source. So suppose that the some of the cutters used for the and some of the angle the machine tools perform to the operation in the sum of angles for 20 degrees, 14 degrees, and 15 degrees, and 30 degrees. Okay, and 40 degrees, and all the cutters is the perform the manufacturing operation cut for the extra material of the workpiece. Okay, a special form of cutters, some of the very critical components and design purpose and the some of special work perform of the operation in use for the manufacturing operation. The special purpose of the tools used for, suppose that hand tools and the machine tools and not selected for the machines and do not perform to operation of the manufacturing, and some of the very small space and the mini space and large space of the and then use for the some of special tools. Okay, end mills, suppose that the one mills of the finish for the operation and the sum of the ends of the workpiece is the for cis metals is not removed for the milling cutters. Okay, and use for the sum of the hand remove for the materials used for the hand tools. Okay, and hand helix. Okay, and all the help of the use for the main objective of the milling machines is the remove for the extra material of the workpiece and achieve for the very smooth surface of the workpiece and complete for manufacturing operation. Okay, and the workpiece is the complete for the need for fulfill of the need of the customers and marketing demand. Okay, and some of the application of the industrial and manufacturing industrial operation for use for milling machines. Suppose that the very high workpiece and automobile component and some of the remove for the extra materials and the extra materials remove of the workpiece, and workpiece is useful perform to the useful perform of the workpiece. Okay, and application need for the application of the areas of the workpiece. Okay, and the plain milling cutter. I said that discuss for this plain milling cutters are before this slide. Okay, they are also called for slab milling cutters and are basically cylindrical with the cutting cutting teeth on the periphery. Okay, suppose that the this is the very important for the diagrams, and you are very neat for the. Okay, and this is the slab milling cutter. This is the slab milling cutter. I say that this is the consisting of the face of the head of the machines and consisting of the tools. This is support for the, this is the clamping and holding for the tools post of the head of the machines, and this is the cutter, this is the milling cutter, consisting on the shaft. The shaft is also for hold for the milling cutters. Milling cutter also used for the multi point cutting tools. Okay, and the this is the workpiece. This is the workpiece is fixed for the on the tables, and other is the form of the inset for the earth of the surface of the, and this is the tool is rotate for the anti-clockwise direction, and workpiece bar the stable in this position, and some of the workpiece and tables rotate for the opposite direction of the tool work. Okay, tool directions. Okay, and this is the axis of the rotation of the axis of rotation of the workpiece, and the this is the tools rotate for the angular directions, and the sum of the workpiece is the also move from the opposite direction of the tools rotation. Okay, and the perform to the operation of this and this with the cutting materials of the surface of the workpiece. Okay, and second figure is also for present. This is the workpiece. Okay, this is the workpiece, this is thickness of the workpiece. Okay, this is width of the workpiece, and this is the uh, depth of the, this is depth of the workpiece, and this is the length of the workpiece. Okay, and the tools is also for the rotate for the in circular motion, and tools workpiece is the rotate for the same direction of the same direction, and tools also for move is the tools is move for the in a clockwise directions. Okay, and the tools move from the rpms. Okay, and for the 3 meters and 5 meters and 10 meters of 10 meters per rp. Okay, move from the 10 round rpm for the 100 and 200 500 in rpm per stroke. Okay, of the workpiece, and slime milling cutter. Okay, and second is the steel milling saw. This is the cutter used for the yes, for grinding wheels and form of the milling cutter. Okay, this is the small teeth of the milling cutters use. Okay, this is the small teeth in acting for the milling cutter of the machines, and some of the use for the operations, and this is the also for this is the tool is moved from the counterwise work directions, and the workpiece is cutting from the two part. One workpiece is dividing for the two parts. Okay, this used for the the milling cutters operations. Mm. These are generally used for the machining flat surface. Okay, and then the slab milling cutter also work performed the operation is the flat surface. Okay, in the flat surface, the generally for the flat surface of the workpiece, and the light duty slab milling cutters generally have the face. This is the face of the width. Okay, and this is the face of the workpiece is performed. uh, this is the face of the workpiece. Okay, this is the face of the workpiece, and the this is width of the, and this is the depth of the workpiece. This is depth of the work, and this is the b is the width of the workpiece. Okay, and this is the heavy face of the workpiece where the is which is the small size of the order of the 25 mm. Okay, the large workpiece is used for in this operation. For the workpiece is also used for face of the milling cutter in order to 25 mm. They are generally have the straight teeth and large number of teeth. Okay, suppose that this is the figure is the straight teeth of the workpiece, and this is the straight teeth of the workpiece. Okay, and this is the large number of teeth. This is the large number of teeth used in this machines. Okay, this is the machines. This is large tools used for the multiple. This is known as the multi-point cutting tools operations. Okay, and the large number of teeth you use in this operation. And key and column milling machines. Some of the other for depend on the milling machine cutters are mm, the heavy duty and heavy matlab the tools also for you manufacturing operation perform the heavy workpiece. Okay, and the slab milling cutters the come from with the small number of teeth for allow for the more chips space. Okay, this is the chips for this is the large workpiece. Okay, and this is the hold for the tools. Okay, in the workpiece. Okay, tools face the tools is holding for the face head of the milling machines. Okay, and this is the key used for the consisting of the soft. Okay, consisting this is the soft. Okay, this is the shaft is a mounted a shaft on the cutter for form of the is the pulley form of the rotate. This is the cutter wounded form on the shaft. Okay, this is the tools, and this is the straight teeth of acting for the uh, wheel. Okay, this is acting for the wheels is a rotate from the clockwise direction of workpiece also move from the is opposite directions. Okay, and the tools tools for this is the cutting of the chips. This is cut of the chips of the complete for the operation of the manufacturing operation. This is a space, and this is also for this space is non cutting operations. Okay, this is the side and face cutter. This is the side cutting and face cutting of the operation. This is the side. Okay, the one side, this is one side cutting tools, milling cutters, and this is both side. One side is and the second side is. Okay, this the use in the two tools. Okay, and the two straight tools. Okay, used for the, and both are tools bounded on the one shaft. Okay, both are tools also used for the same directions. Okay, and the workpiece is the also press for move from the opposite direction of the rotation of the tools. Okay, in the two side and face cutter. This is the two side. This is the face of the workpiece. This is the white, the black side. This is the black side is the face of the workpiece, and this is the black side is both side. Okay, and one side is the tools is performed to the operation is the side cutting and face cutting. Okay, and other side is the tools also perform the two operation. Once one operation is performed to the side cutting of the workpiece and face cutting, and this is the face cutting of this is the face is face of the surface of the workpiece. Okay, and this is the upper side is the face of the workpiece. Okay, and the tools is also move from the clockwise direction, and the workpiece is also far press from the is the press for the clockwise directions, opposite direction of the tools motion. Okay, and some of the other is the teeth is the sum of angle. The teeth is the also acting for the sum of is the tilde for the sum of angles. Okay, and this is the teeth used for the is the this is soft, this is soft, and this is soft. The cutting the milling cutters also consisting of bounded on the work on the shaft. Okay, the shaft is the also rotate for the in rpms rpm. Okay, and the workpiece is also the tools and perform to the operation of the workpiece. Okay, this is the straight tooth cutter, this is the straight tooth cutter are used for this is the workpiece. Okay, this is the workpiece, this is the workpiece. Okay, this is workpiece, and workpiece also for press for the is directions, and tools also move from the is the clockwise directions. Okay, and rotational or speed of the workpiece is this is the this is the surface cutter, and this is the two face one surface cutting. These tools perform on the three phase cutting. One is the surface cutting, and two is the two phase. Okay, this is the left side and this is the right side of the two phase. Okay, this is the operation for use in the very high power required for perform to operation. And the second operation is this workpiece, and this the very thin use for the cutter. Okay, very thin cutter, this is the workpiece also for the perform in the very very thins of the work perform to the space of the workpiece. Okay, and tools also move from the is the clockwise directions, and the shaft is also mounted on the tool milling tools also on the consist bounded on the shaft. This is the shaft of the workpiece, and the side and face cutter, this is the side and face cutter of the machines. Okay, all the this is also for taken the differ cuts and the consequently high material removal rate. Okay, all the milling cutters is used for the all the milling cutter the metal removal rate is the very high. Helical milling cutters have a very small number of teeth. This is the very small teeth used in consisting of the teeth of the milling cutters. Okay, and this is the very small teeth is very small teeth of the gears on the surface of the cutters. Okay, this is very small teeth is the very high density of the teeth is bounded on the surface of, and the types of the cutter cut with a shearing actions. Okay, this is the shearing action which can be produce a very fine finish. Okay, this is the surface is the very smooth surface achieved, and the cut for the metal of the workpiece. And the side and face milling cutters perform they have the cutting is not only one the face like the slab milling cutters. Okay, but also one of both the sides. Okay, some of the side used for the use in the milling cutters machines, and the helix angles Alexander is these have the cutting ears not only one the face like the slab milling cutters, but also one both of the side. As a result these cutters become more versatile since they can be used for side millings as well as for the slot milling. Okay, and the tools perform the operation is the surface of the workpiece and side of the cutting for the side angles side of the machines. Okay, some of the use for the operations perform the machines straight both side milling cutters. Okay, straight side and both side of the milling cutter. This is the straights of the, this is the figure number third is the, this is the teeth is the acting for the tools of the workpiece, and the, this is the one, this is one surface on two side of the generated in this perform to the operation of the manufacturing operations. Okay, and this is the become for the straight and milling cutter are the variation where the teeth are arranged in the alternating helix pattern. Okay, helix angles, helix is the also known as the helix angles. Okay, and this is the two teeth also for helix is acting for on the milling wheels is the perform on the helix angle designs. Okay, helix angle of the form, this is the angles tools is acting for the angles forms. Okay, and the this types of journal used for the milling deep slot. Okay, deep slots and the scenes for the straightening for the teeth providing the greater shifts space. Okay, and some of the teeth is also perform the operations and generate for the teeth provided for the greater shifts space. Okay, and the great the this is tools used for the I need for the very large sum of space you require for the on the workpiece, and some of two faces of the workpiece, and some of the achieve for space, and they use for these operations in the help of this milling cutters. Okay, and slating sauce. So the order the other common form of the milling cutter in the uh, observe bounded observe mounted the category is the slating sauce. Suppose that the this is the this is the milling cutters is the observe mounted on the category is the slate saw. Suppose that the one, this is the workpiece. Okay, and this is the workpiece, and this is the also for the tools is mounted. Okay, tools is mounted for the, this is the shaft of the tools. Okay, this is shaft, this tools also for mounted on the workpiece. Okay, mounted on the work, this is the tools is also generated for the workpiece also for rotate for the two slide. Okay, two parts. Okay, cut for the metals of the thickness of the workpiece, and perform to uh, the two saw. This is very small. The saw is the blades blade in the appearance as well as the functions. Okay, this is the cut for the very thin thin slide. Okay, piece for the in one single thickness of the uh, ply is dividing by the two parts by help of the very thin tools milling cutter use for. Okay, सपोज दैट द शटरिंग आपने देखी होगी घर पे लगने वाले, तो शटरिंग में क्या होता है, उसमें प्लाई को एक इस वेरी पतले ब्लेड से काटी जाती है ना ply को, very very small thickness of the blades. Okay, used in these operations, and okay, and some of the most of these have teeth rounded for the circumference. Okay, on bounded on the teeth of the milling cutter is the very small of the machines, and some of the cutter used for the is saria. Okay, the rod cutting of sense, and some of welding operations आपने देखोगे, the cutting for the rod of the some of the space of the thickness of the blades form of the tools used or the milling tools. Okay, while some have the side teeth as well as the thickness of this cutters is the generally very small. Okay, I say that for the this is the very small thickness is used for the cutting of the operation or the for depth of slot. Okay, this is the teeth is used for the very small slots, and cut for the metals is perform the operation for a special form of cutters. Okay, some of the cutters use milling cutter used for the special work purpose. Okay, in the some special purpose of the machine. In addition to the general types of milling cutters, some of the general types of milling cutter describes above for this, there are the large number of special for milling cutters available. This is the special for the milling cutter available when are used for machining, and the machining for the specific of the profiles. The some of the general machine milling tools are performed to the one operation, two operation, three operation, and four operation. One tools is used for multiple operation performed to the of the general types of milling machines. Okay, and as for the describe, there are the large number of special form milling cutters available. Okay, and some of the milling cutters is also for the some milling cutters available which are used for machining the specific profiles of, okay, in the operations. The cutters which are used for the milling specify profiles of the tools used. Okay, and a special form of cutters used for the manufacturing operation is performed to the, and the special of the tools used for this operation, and and this is the angle of milling cutter is, this is the tools also for, this is tools. Okay, this is the tools is consisting of the some of helix angles. Okay, teeth is the very many teeth is the used, teeth is the also for some straight. Okay, and this is the tools. Okay, and this is the form of the this is the shaft. Okay, and this is the shaft is bounded from the tooth, this is teeth. The teeth is also work performed to the in operation to the straight and the flat surface is generated, and this tools is performed to the operation is the one side is the straight side, and second side is the cutting for the flat surface. Okay, achieve for the flat surface, and this is the conical form of the operation performed to the workpiece. Okay, and angles of milling cutters is performed to the operations, and second is the angle milling cutters also for use for the is the both side of the straight of the teeth. Okay, and suppose that the this is the both are the teeth of the workpiece is, this is the teeth. Okay, this is the teeth, this is the teeth of the perform to the workpiece. Okay, this is the shaft, this is the shaft is wounded from the, this is the shaft is wounded from the workpiece. Okay, this is the tools also for cut for the sum of the angles form. Okay, sum of angle form, and perform to the operations, and to the angle of milling cutters. Okay, used for the operations is the very small. Okay, this is the angles of milling cutter, and some of the other is the sales and mills, the in the sales and in mills. Okay, this is the tools also for mounted on the headstock or head of the milling tools. Okay, and this is the consisting is the very strong of the tools for consist on the wounded on the shaft. Okay, and this tools is also, this is tools is the grooves angles of the tools is performed to the operation, and this is the workpiece is the one, this use for the operation achieve for the surface of the workpiece. One side is the straight side, and second is the plane of the surface. Okay, this is the this is the plane, this is the plane surface. Okay, this is straight line, And suppose that this is the straight part of this is the, okay, this is the cut for the metals of the workpiece. This is the sphere surface, okay. And this is the cutter is used perform to the operations is the, this tools is used for the clockwise direction and cutting for the metals extra materials of the workpiece, okay. And other operation is performed to the form the relieved circular cutters. This is the circular cutter. The mid positions of the cutter is the down side, and the and other side two side is to end side of the tools is the large area of the cutters, okay. This is the tools also for perform, this is operation perform, okay. This is the tools, okay. This is tools perform to the, this is cutter used for these operations, and used for the some of the special tools used for the helix angles. And some of the also tools used for the, and the chiefs of the work. And from the levered circular cutter is used for the operation performed to the workpiece. Suppose that this is the, and this is I perform to the shape of the achieve for operation of the workpiece. This is the flat surface of the, this is earth of the surface, this, and suppose this is the, this is the workpiece is performed to the operations this, okay. And suppose that this is the workpiece is performed to the operation, and this is the operation form, okay. And this is the and this is the area is the this is teeth of the milling cutter is the area is external side, this is external side of the teeth of the area. And this is the this is the mid positions of the tools is height is the very small, okay. This is the this is the face of the tools, okay. And the other form of the this is the other form of the tools also used for the is the form of the relieved the circular okay. This is the in this operation, this is the workpiece, okay, performed to the, this is the tools used for the circular motion of the cutter. This is the also performed to the, this is the workpiece, okay. This is the workpiece, this is the workpiece, and the tools is, this is designed for achieve for the design of the workpiece, okay. This is circular part of the workpiece, okay, perform to the operation, okay. This is the, this is used for the tools also cut for the metals and achieve for the very circular form of the down circular, okay. And some of the other form of the wooder for use key cutters, okay. And some of the cutter used for the perform to the mid positions whole of the workpiece and generate to the operations. Suppose that this is the large workpiece, okay. This is the large workpiece, and some of the remove for the some of the it made positions remove for the materials used for the some of the tools of the, this is the milling tools used for perform to the operation. And this is the extra material remove for this space, okay. The tools is the wooders and oof of key of cutters used for the operations. The sum of this is a special purpose of the tools used from the special purpose performed on the manufacturing operations, okay. The special form of cutters, the angular milling cutters are made in the single or double angles, okay. Some the single angle is the cutter performed to the operation is the one side is the straight side and surface side, and okay. And double side of the angles cutter for the milling any angles away 40 30 degree, 45 degree, and 60 degree of the angle cutting perform of the operations or tools, okay. The other is the from the relieved cutter are made for the various shapes such as the circular, corner, and rounding, convex, and concave shapes of the tools which perform the operations, and they use for cutting of the metals. T slot milling cutters are used for the milling T slot. okay. And such the this is the milling for milling machine tables. The workpiece is also holding for the workpiece holding for the on the tables of the workpiece, and the tools is performed to operation on the workpiece, and the tools is also for rotate for the circular motions, and workpiece also for holding for the on the tables, okay. And holding for and some of the use for the force and support for the workpiece in, okay. The central slot is to be mild first using end mills before use for the T slot milling cutters, okay. And some of the use for the T slot of the milling cutters are performed to the operations, okay. Some other special form of the cutters are used for the wood keeps the seat of the metals perform the operations, okay. And the wood of the milling cutters are the some status are around in the milling wood leaf key are state, and wo Doveters milling cutters and gear milling cutters. So some of the milling cutters used for the perform to the operations, and I achieve for the very design purpose of design form of the workpiece. Okay, and the tools is also for move the various design purpose used for the milling cutters. Some of the tools also used for in this operations for the milling cutters end milling. Some of the milling operation performed to the end milling of the operation, and these are the sank used for sank used in these tools, and consisting of a very large sank used in the tools of the figure are generalized to use for the vertical axis milling machines, okay. And some of the tools is performed to this is the sank of the this is the dia of the sank, okay. This is the dia of the sank, this is the diameter of the sank, and this is the tools is also for, and this is design for the tools is the holding for the tools is on the head of the tool post, okay. And the this is the length of the cut, this is the generate for the grooves of the workpiece, okay. And depth, this is the depth of the cut of the workpiece, and this is the overall length, the length of the overall length of the workpiece, and four fluid end millings, okay. Four fluid of the end of the milling operation is performed to the machines, okay. And this is the also used for the some of the sank is the very high, diameter is the large about according to the sank of the tools, okay. And the this is the this the workpiece is the performed to the operation of the this end milling use for the making of the slot, okay. This is the making for the slot, some of slot and the on the workpiece the tools is performed to the operation on the slot form. Other two fluid in the millings are also used for the of the operations, and selected to the operation of the milling cutters, and sank dia, this is the sank dia of the milling cutters and dia, the multi fluid end millings, and some of the end milling for use of the operation, some of design, this is the design purpose of the milling cutters used in the operations. End of the milling cutters and dia, this is the circular form of the workpiece, okay. This is the circular form of the two teeth is used for the circular motion of the workpiece, okay. This is the tools also move from the vertical positions of the rotate, and some of the grooves is cutting for the metals of the workpiece, Okay, and this is the round shaft of the workpiece. And end, this is the end point of the, this is the very sharp of the teeth of the end of the face of the teeth. Okay, very sharp. And multiple is used for the, this is diameter of the shank tools. And the suppose that some of the other use for the tools on the workpiece of the safe of rotation of the workpiece, and perform to the operations of the milling cutters, and the, this is also known as the milling cutter operations. Okay, and the use for the end of the milling start from the one space to another space of the workpiece. And some of the species are used for the operations of, okay, and this is the operation, the milling, the end millings have be cutting edge is the running, the running teeth of the length of the workpiece is operation, as well as on the face readily upward to the certain length. Okay, and some of the length used for the operations of manufacturing operation, and some of that is required for the cutting operation. And this is the also for, this is the tools is a very important tools. Okay, this is the shank of the tools, this is the shank dia of the tools. And this is the design is made for the sum of the design purpose special of designs, and holding of the tools of the tool post, and tool post also for the very strong holded for the tools. And the, this is the design for some special design of, this is the removes of the materials, some special use for the, this is the, this is the diameter of the tools, and this is the radius, and this is the radius of the, this is the radius of the tools. Okay, and this is the mid, the mid position of the straight line of the two flute. Okay, used for these operations. Ball and mills, this is the ball and mills operation. The other tools also for the end, end of the tools is the, this is the very sharp surface. Okay, this is the, this is the very this is the state of the tools used for the operations. And some of the milling cutters in the, this is the use for the, okay, this is the some of the design is the very strong for the tip of the tool is the very strong. And this is the some of the design is make for the tools. Okay, this is the made for the tools. And the tools also for rotate for the in circular motions, and the cutting for the material, the extra material on the workpiece for the material passes for the through the design of the external outside of the area. And some of the other, this is the other design, this other design of the workpiece and tools. Okay, this is the other, the special purpose of design used for the some of point for in the area of the tools end. Okay, the readily for the length of the portion, the end milling have the cutting is uh, the running through the length, this is running through the length of the cutter cutting positions. This is the cutting position, the cutting for the metal of this point. Okay, as well as on the face readily upon the certain length of the workpiece. The helix angles of the cutting edge, helix angle of the cutting edge promotes the smooth and efficient cutting. Okay, some of the use for the specify efficient of the cutting even at the high is high cutting speed and feed rate. Okay, the tools is the use for the very powerful, and cutting for the cutting for the material is the metal removal rate is the very high. high the high cutting speed are generally the recommended on recommended for these types of the milling cutter. Okay, and all in this types of milling cutter used for the speed is the very strong and the very high, and the requirement of the power is very high or in of the tools. Okay, the tools is a performed to the manufacturing operation is the one phase, two phase, and the some of the very hard work is performed on the workpiece of the tools. Okay, the tools is also for circular motion of the in rpm, five from 500 and 600 1000 rpm of the tools is rotate for the. Okay, and the cutting for the metal performed to the operations, and the this is the sang mounted milling cutters. Various types of the end of mills are are the present in the very detail in this video. Okay, the thank you so much dear student. Subscribe the channels and creative for more technical knowledge of the milling cutters and some of the milling machines used for the, and some of the uh, classification of the milling cutters and design of the special design purpose of milling cutters, and some of the very strong and the upcoming of the video is the very interested of the video. Okay.